My name's Tokkie Elliott, and I'm I guess, the proud owner of a new Nordhavn Motorsailer 56. It's been somewhat of a long experience getting it, but I have to thank Nordhavn for their efforts. Let's start in 1989. I bought an Oyster 55 along with my father in England, and we spent 10 years sailing it back to the United States. Then at that point my parents got too old to use it, and I was too busy, and I've always wanted to return back to this cruising experience. And I started looking at other boats, and about that time there was a little blurb, this is about 5 or 6 years ago, about Nordhavn, which I've always admired, was going to build a motorsailer, which was very attractive to me. So I, approximately 4 years ago, contacted Nordhavn and inquired about the motorsailer, and was sent a package and studied it, and spent time on the internet comparing it to other boats, and eventually made an appointment with Mr. Eric Leishman, and sat down with him, and he explained to me the Nordhavn process. And so I said I'd get back to him, and a week later I was down here and started the process. There was a new boat, so I didn't want the first couple, so I opted for number 5, which was a year and a half or so into the production schedule. And I even went so far as to go to Taiwan to look at the new boat, and was very pleased with what I saw. On the first part of July, when they were delivering the boat, and I was at home in the Central Valley of California, when I got a telephone call from Eric Leishman, who said, we've had a problem. And apparently the longshoreman dropped the boat and broke it and sunk it. So I unloaded my pickup, and that was on a Saturday, and Monday morning at 8:30 I was in Nordhavn's office, and they told me what the problems were and everything else, and I told them I didn't care. I just came down to order a new boat. So much to their credit, they pretty much loaned me a boat for about a 12-month period while they rebuilt me a new boat, which I always thought was wonderful. My experience with the Nordhavn people has been very positive. If there's a problem, they solve it, and with a smile. The people are very congenial, helpful. So now I have finally taken possession of what it turns out to be the number 8 hull of the series. And I'm very pleased so far with it. I've only had one boat ride with it. I plan on taking it up to Seattle for the rest of the summer, and then eventually back down into Mexico, and then next summer to Alaska. And then from there, I'm not sure. After Nordhavn gave me the loaner boat, we took it up to the San Francisco area for a couple of days, and then brought it back down the coast to Mexico. Stopped in Ensenada, and then dabbled along and went around the point to La Paz and up into the islands in the Sea of Cortez, and eventually wound up as far south as Barra Navidad by Manzanillo. It was kind of interesting. One of the reasons that I bought the motorsailer to start with was in my past experience. Every time I went somewhere, I was remotored. Someone told me once the difference between a sailboat and a motorboat is that a sailboat only uses its motor 90% of the time, and we found that to be true. If we wanted the wind to stop, all we had to do was put up the head sail, and there was no more wind. So we motor sailed most of the way. One thing that was kind of interesting, the Motorsailer is a pretty good sized boat at 45 tons. We were able to travel most of the time at making 8 knots, using about 3 gallons an hour, which a regular motorboat would not be able to do. So we took advantage of the wind. The Motorsailer has an adjustable pitch propeller, so you can adjust the propeller to maximize your efficiency. As a sailboat, the boat performs remarkably well. It's a full keel. It's stable. We found that when we could get wind in the right direction, we would make about 45 degrees on the wind. We would get about 50% of the wind speed. We did get the spinnaker up a couple of times for short periods because it makes the wind die faster than a regular head sail. Like I said before, most of the time we would motor sail. Even if we were getting pretty good sail performance, we would get the engine consumption down to less than a gallon an hour and putter along. One of the disadvantages of the Motorsailer is because it's it's heavy to the motorboat side, it's pretty power hungry. So you sometimes have to run something to generate power for the autopilot pumps, which is what you use most of the time. That's the one downside. But with the low fuel consumption, it's still a pretty cheap way to travel around the world, which is kind of what our goal is. It's large enough inside to accommodate 4 to 6 people comfortably without bumping into each other. Nice galley to provide good space for good meals, and plenty of storage for food and what have you, so you don't have to come into port every week. You can go out for 3 weeks and enjoy yourself. On our particular boat, we have a dive compressor, tanks, and down in Mexico, when we were in the warm water, we would go diving every day when possible. Another nice feature about the Motorsailer is its livability and the ease at which, say, a normal cruising couple can manage the systems. Everything is pretty much the navigation and automatic, the way the boat is set up. You primarily using autopilot. Everything is easy. You have power winches. You power windlass. To get to the different systems for maintenance, such as oil and the main engine and the generator, are easy to handle. It's not complex, and you have plenty of room to run around. Having been a sailboat owner, to change the oil, you have to disassemble the boat. This was a kind of a wonderful experience. Also, the size of the cabin compared to a normal sailboat gives you much more comfort. You're not squeezed in on each other. And the staterooms are more comfortable. You have a nice queen-size bed arrangement. They have several different options. On the loaner boat, as I call it, we had the 2 staterooms, one forward and one aft. And on the boat that I wound up with finally, my dream boat has 3 staterooms, but still has plenty of room and comfort for everybody, with 3 heads, separate heads, which make cruising a lot easier for older people to have their privacy.